What's up, everyone?
What up, folks? Episode number 11. Here we go.
You
What's
might,
different? Did you get a haircut? Something's different about this episode.
I don't know. I think we have. We're all looking great today. I don't think there's
Yes.
any outliners in terms of
Yeah.
anyone not looking good,
I
which is
feel like
weird.
this podcast is just better looking today. I I don't know what it is.
I can tell you, I feel like it's a more mature podcast because there's no babies trying to talk to us with a fake facial hair.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Matty, Matty. Oh,
Matt's not here? What? What happened to Matt?
crazy. So you guys might not know. I'm talking to you directly, but our viewers as well. Matty may be running late. Now, the reason why is his feelings were hurt earlier today. We're talking about, we're going to be talking about flat Earth and some conspiracies. Matty is actually a strong advocate for flat Earth. In fact, he goes to the yearly conventions in Carolina, and
Caroline.
so he spends $185 for the convention alone and flights, whatever have you, through the roof. He's a big advocate on flat Earth is a real deal. And when we talked to him about it and we said, we're going to be pitching these ideas as a joke, he got really sensitive and hurt. So he, out of frustration, punched a wall. He's now in the hospital. He's gone.
Wow. Oh, really?
He punched a wall with his foot.
That's really strange because I heard that he spilt his tea and he's just going to be late because he's put the kettle back on. I don't know.
Well, he spilled his tea, but it burnt his foot.
Oh, is that what happened?
And so he's in the ER.
Oh,
in the fracture part of the hospital where you go for fractures.
That's that part of the hospital is fractured, or
No, his emotions are fractured, so he's in the
yeah.
yeah. So Matty got his feelings hurt.
He's a fragile soul. Yeah.
Well, he's a little he's a little toddler, so his feelings get hurt. He throws a little tantrum here and there. It explains why he rages in video games, by the way.
This makes a lot of sense now.
He stomps his feet,
Yep. Yep.
that's it. And then we tuck him into bed and
Kiss on his forehead.
no, COVID. We just spit.
Oh.
We just spit on his forehead and rub it in like Simba.
Nice.
Good to see everyone here. We got a few viewers here. Yo, Matakino in chat is obviously.
Yeah.
One second, let me ban him.
Yeah, get this guy out of chat. He's not even on the podcast, but he's in the chat. What the
You
hell?
can put user in a timeout. Nah, I'll leave him. I'll leave him be.
Nah, yeah, let him interact in some way.
Yeah. So Matty
Hopefully,
should be running.
hopefully for the viewers, it's like let's say you're at like I don't know, some sporting event. And there's like a celebrity in the stands with you, and you're like, "What is that? Is that guy?" So like the chat's gonna be like, "Yo, what is Matty in here with us?" And I don't know. Maybe it'd be a good thing. Maybe they'll be depressed. I'd be depressed.
If I saw Matty and I don't think, first off, I wouldn't ever be excited to see Matty. I'd be like, oh, it's that guy. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's mustache baby.
Who stuck him in here? They don't check ID at the door?
He literally looks like the babies with those disguise glasses with the big nose and the mustache. It's like you put one of those on a baby.
Permanent.
Oh, it's so good.
That's true. Those disguises really work though. Like as a kid, I tried doing that, and I asked for I tried to sneak some alcohol.
Your mom didn't know who you were?
No. Then I drank some alcohol from my parents. Turns out they let me because they're European, not because the disguise worked.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, guys, just so you know, this is supposed to be Matt's joke of the week. He's not here.
Matt, type it out in chat.
Yeah, type your joke out in chat and see if you suck. That'd be great. Lukasz, do you want to do the honors? I vote that you can do it this week, and Matt will fill in for you next week.
I'd still want to do my own joke, but I will take it.
Okay.
I will take it for Matty this week, because it's kind of embarrassing that he spilled his tea on his foot and went to the fracture department in the hospital. But whatever have you.
For his feelings.
For his feelings. So I will go with joke of the week. Now, if I succeed with this joke, if you guys think it's a good joke, Matty, when he returns or if he comes in late to the podcast, because he might do that, we'll have to take 14 shots. No questions asked back to back.
Basically has to kill himself.
No, two shots is fine. 2 shots is fine.
2 shots, I agree.
So, knock knock.
Oh, okay. Who's there?
Little old lady.
Little old lady who?
Little old lady.
It's so stupid, but so good. God damn it. Oh, man.
Matty said, "Can I give my joke when you join?" We'll give you redemption.
Sure.
Sure.
But yo, personally, that was fantastic. I enjoyed it. That was great. I didn't see that I didn't even know. I didn't even know I basically said that myself. Yo, chat. Anybody who's in there, give us a little vote. Whether or not you thought Lucas's stand-in was successful. Crazy how you stand in for Matt today and you did the best you ever have.
I saved all my energy for that joke.
All your energy, yeah, you were waiting for this. In the meantime, let me tell you guys about something. One name, two words, Grand Champ. Buying or selling homes, free evaluations, and financial advice. Lee Grand Champ does it all. If his name doesn't scream winner, I don't know what does, but I do know that you want the champ in your corner when you're talking about real estate. Check him out on Instagram at Mississauga Vibe and his website, champrealestate.ca. Lee Grand Champ will make you a property champion. Also, if you want to get to know the guy, he was on our podcast last week, episode 10. See what the man's really like.
He valued my house, so we had him judge that. If you guys missed that, go see it. It was a great time.
Yeah, honestly, he showed his skills there, and I was impressed.
As for now, what are you drinking, Lee?
I've got a treat for everybody today. I don't know who knows this or not, but Terramana, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson's tequila is now available in Canada. It was actually came out, I'm pretty sure it was last weekend. I got this last week or Monday, and I have not opened it because I've been saving it for you guys. Little review, taste test live on the podcast. I gotta say, just looking at it, it looks like a pretty simple bottle, but it's like really nice in your hand. It really is. And the part that really won me over is at the back here. It says notes of oak and vanilla.
Wow.
Damn! If the vanilla is significant in this, sounds pretty fucking dangerous.
So are there different flavors, or is it just one flavor that has notes of it like that? Like, can you get
no?
one?
So there's the Reposado and there's the Blanco. The Reposado has the oak and vanilla hints. The Blanco, I believe, it has hints of citrus. So
okay. Both
sound fantastic. I'm gonna crack this for you guys right now. We're gonna do a shot, and let's see what it's like. In the meantime, Lucas, tell us what you're drinking.
Yo, I'm gonna get judged here. I have a Smirnoff Ice Light. 80 calories, man. I've been just trying to drink it before the podcast because I've been drinking too much hard liquor, and this is it's a big bottle, 80 calories for the whole thing, and it's what percentage? 4. Okay, that's pretty soft.
4?
That's pretty soft.
Yo, my apple juice is
basically Sprite Zero. It's not bad. Other than that, I'm drinking White Claws again. I did not get mango because I told you how it was shit. I didn't get it. And I'm taking shots of vodka, obviously, because I am basic. So anyway, I see you poured yourself a shot.
I did. Are you joining me?
Yeah, shall we?
I gotta say, smell quite nice.
I don't know why I smelled mine. I was like, maybe
you expecting just. All right, hey, cheers. Terramana tequila. Here it goes. Okay, so right off the bat, let me tell you, it's very smooth, very nice. Let me paint a picture for you. Yours didn't look all that nice.
I didn't get notes of vanilla. I just got notes of alcohol.
This tastes to me what I imagine after, one of Dwayne Johnson's long, hard workouts, and the sweat drips down the side of his neck, off his right pec, and drips off of his right nipple.
Touches his armpit here just a little bit.
Right into my mouth. This is what I imagine that would taste like, and I don't know if my wife would be upset if I say this, but I freaking like it. That's some good tequila. I genuinely thought that the brand would be carried by his name, and everyone would just be over it by the hype is all it's Dwayne Johnson. No, that's some good tequila. I recommend it.
And yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but we looked up celebrity alcohols, and Emma in chat says I'm pissed. Oh, and I was actually shocked by the amount of celebrities who own alcohol and who owns alcohol. Like, I didn't know Justin Timberlake had a tequila as well. Like, that blew
Yeah.
my mind.
Yeah, that sounds sick. I'm down to try that one. I want to try Michael Jordan's. Backstreet Boys are coming out with one apparently. Excuse me, Backstreet Boy tequila?
Well, Backstreet's
Shit.
back. All right.
Yeah.
Getting into this week's topic. Let's get right into it.
Yeah.
We are going to be talking about flat Earth. Obviously, the Earth is flat. There's no question about it or any doubt from anyone. Or maybe you do have doubts, and we're here to clarify those doubts for you. It's very obvious the Earth is flat. I think maybe we can give some examples, agree to disagree, or agree to agree, because there's nothing to disagree upon, really.
Yeah, I don't even know why we're talking about this. Everyone knows it's flat.
It's super obvious.
Okay, no, straight up though. Honestly, I want to give an honest disclosure at the beginning. We are not flat earthers. We
Yet.
yet, yeah. Who knows how this podcast ends? We are not flat earthers. We like to believe we're somewhat smart gentlemen. We believe in a round Earth, but we're gonna try, to give it some sort of legitimacy. And if at any point in this podcast we get you to just kind of pause and be like, "Huh, interesting," I think we'll have done our job. We're just testing our skills here, but no, we don't think the Earth is flat.
Are you sure about that? Just so you
It's
guys,
so round in your picture. What do you mean? Am I sure about that?
this is Photoshop, obviously. That's
Well, actually,
the reason.
but it is.
It
You're,
is.
you're
It is
not wrong.
wrong.
It is.
You know what? To celebrate, that Matty's not with us, I do want to bring him into the podcast, some way, shape, or form, until he returns. So we will have Matty as my background as we discuss the facts of flat Earth.
If that's not a good friend, I don't know what is. That. Oh yeah. Oh
Like that,
yeah.
Matty. You missed this.
Yeah, guys got. Yeah, he does. How dare I? Am I intruding? Do you want some privacy?
You were going to change your background to me kissing Matty and kiss the back of my head just to make it.
I want to get in on it.
The face of the human centipede.
Yeah,
for real,
I want in
I'm
on
not actually doing that. That looks terrible.
All right, let's jump into this.
So I think the best way to do this is let's list an example or something like what may prove that the Earth is flat or what assumption there is for the Earth to be flat. Now, I will talk about proof. Now, we all know that there was a moon landing. Everyone knows that. But what proof is there that there was an actual moon landing? Now, a good example is there was about 700 magnetic tapes. I guess that's what they put it on. Of the moon landing and all its recordings, data, all that good stuff. Those tapes have apparently gone missing. Now, it wasn't that they disintegrated over time. It wasn't that they were broken down over time. It was that they apparently just disappeared. That's literally what NASA has told us, that these tapes have disappeared. Like, no corroded, nothing, just disappeared. And that's really sketchy. So there was actually a scientist who went out and decided, I need to find out if there's at least physical copies that are at least said on the name like this was the moon landing. To at least be like, hey, if it's not readable, at least there's proof that there was somewhat of a storage of this. Nothing could be found throughout the NASA facility, which is insane because obviously things like that are stored. It's one of humans' greatest achievements that we went to the moon. It's also, pretty unpredictable that we just sent a bunch of people into a metal tin can, sent them through the vacuum of space specifically to hit a rock, and then they returned. If I were to tell you that in that kind of perspective, it sounds sketchy. Obviously,
in the time it happened, sure.
Yeah, what, 1971?
Yeah, I don't remember the specific year, but 70s. Yeah, sure.
Like, mind-blowing, especially since we haven't ever been back.
Have we? Has it never happened since?
Apparently, we have never returned. Apparently, Ukraine has landed there too, but God knows, because that's all speculation. I've never heard proof about that. I've never heard proof about any of these, to be honest.
To be fair, I didn't look into this, so I find this super fascinating. Especially, I'm not trying to shit on Ukraine, but of all the countries in the world, the only other country was Ukraine.
Like the least one.
Conversation over. Yeah, conversation over.
Yeah. So that's the thing. There's no apparent living evidence anymore that there was a moon landing, except for the fact that there is a flag on the moon apparently. But how would I know that?
They use a telescope.
Oh, it's a pretty big flag.
So where did I should have looked this up myself, but I was actually just looking into more of the physics and stuff. But where did this conspiracy come from? Or sorry, I know where it came from originally, but the resurgence of this flat Earth theory, because it obviously came back to life. Do you happen to know what that was?
So apparently, the flat Earth theory has been around for centuries. It's been from
Right.
the Mayans, discussing the fact that they couldn't reach an end. Obviously, they couldn't travel as much as us. The skepticism is that Antarctica is not the north, or the North Pole is not the top of the globe. It's the perimeter of the circle of the planet.
I think it's the opposite.
It's the barrier.
I think it's the opposite. I think the Arctic, like the North Pole, is the center, and Antarctica is.
Sorry. Yes, correct. Yes, my mistake. So Antarctica is the perimeter, and basically what it's saying is that once you pass those, there's actually more layers of undiscovered Earth.
So it's not even the perimeter. What? So it extends past.
Yes.
Antarctica?
Apparently we are in layers. So there's different theories. This one I think is called I think Norb theory. That is the perimeter, but it's almost like what you would say is the Bermuda Triangle, that you can't pass it because anyone who has passed it has never come back.
Damn.
Yeah, which is super interesting. I read like 5 different theories right before we came on, and it's just super fascinating to see how people's heads spin. Another thing is that there's layers to our solar system, and that's where each planet kind of lies. The furthest one being is it Mercury, because it travels the fastest.
The furthest in our solar system.
Yeah, for the
isn't Mercury the closest?
Apparently, so it's faster than Mercury is the fastest orbiting planet in our solar system.
Yes.
My mistake.
Yes.
But that's where it becomes where I think there's three suns and 3 moons, and I think it's Saturn that's both. It's the catalyst. But that it was manufactured and created by aliens to kind of put us in a spot in our solar system where there's many like globes like ours.
Rewind that back. I don't know if you skipped something important, but that sounds super interesting, but you lost me somewhere in there.
Sure. Hit me. What's your question?
The whole thing.
So
the what?
So let's put it this way, is that they like to think, and sorry, let me read my notes right here. First off, the theory is that it's not a flat Earth. It's that the Earth is a disk that has like a kind of like a globe on it.
Right, almost like an atmospheric
planetarium,
snow globe. Oh, sure.
Planetarium, right? And what happens is, for that planetarium to survive, you need obviously life, you need energy, etc. Which is why we were created with essentially batteries, which is our suns and our moons. To recharge so that we have recharge rates, and so that if we only had suns and no moons, our Earth would basically burn, right? So they put moons as catalysts.
Sorry. Lighting. The argument is that the sun and the moon, the whole solar system was planned out.
Yeah, it's basically saying that we're all planned out, and the reason why they're saying it's a conspiracy is because if you were to be told that our solar system was planned out, it would cause chaos. Religions would crumble. Everyone would be like, what the hell's going on? Even though there would still be skepticism.
Wouldn't that sort of fit into religion? Like, wouldn't that kind of give religious people hope in being like, oh, yeah, like God put this together?
But then it also cause chaos for people who still don't believe. Because then people in religion would be like, no, it exists. We have proof now. And it apparently caused chaos, which is why it's so hidden. Another conspiracy to link with that is Elon Musk. Now listen to this. SpaceX is $48 billion value company. A $48 billion company. Where does all that money come from? Like, what do you know? What does SpaceX do? Do you know what it does?
Launch Teslas into space.
So how does it generate revenue?
I have no idea how that company makes money, actually.
Apparently, the reason why is because since they have the technology to use space travel, government pays them to hide the truth of.
Fuck.
Yeah, which is why it makes so much money. Because really, if you were to think about it, if I were to tell you how does SpaceX actually make money, we'd be like, I don't know. But for it to be $48 billion,
That's a lot of money.
it's a lot of money. It's astonishing, right? You could say stock investors, etc. Is there stock investors, or is that the government basically painting its false names to be like, take the money, but shut your mouth about whatever you see out there?
Okay, so this is very interesting. Let's dial it back a little bit because I did want to get into Elon Musk. So first things first, let's take a couple steps backwards.
Yeah.
Talking about flat Earth, one of the first things that ever comes up in the argument is we have pictures of Earth. Like, it's pretty fucking round. How do you deny it? And obviously the counter argument to that is, like anything, it's photoshopped or it's doctored images. None of it's real.
Right.
And quite frankly, who has access to these satellites to take these photos of stuff that isn't a government organization? Nobody. Except for these new, who I will call heroes, who are about to emerge, people like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk specifically, because he actually has interest in space and whatnot, and he's probably like a real life Iron Man. So I was counting on him to be the guy who's not caught up in the conspiracy to shed some light on the truth. I know goddamn well the Earth is round, but to just squash any sort of
Argument.
skepticism, or yeah, sure, any kind of argument. But yo, now you're saying the government might be just funding SpaceX and telling him to shut his mouth. That's interesting. It's interesting.
I mean, he's very adamant about life on Mars. Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, is that kind of just a dilution and a redirection of what we want to know, which is our own planet?
Right. And again, that's gonna come. I have a feeling that's gonna come up again later. So let's dodge that for now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of want to go back to the map that we were talking about. Mm-hmm. How the North Pole is actually the center within the flat Earth theory. Antarctica is the perimeter. North Pole is actually the center.
Right.
Imagine you just took a globe and you treated it like a Terry's chocolate orange and you just kind of peeled that shit out and flattened it out.
That's actually what I do to my globes when I buy them. I just rip them right open, just pull them out.
For the record, Terry's chocolate oranges suck.
No. No. They're so good. I hate that you hate them.
I hate that I love you.
Terry?
No, those are trash. But yeah, I think the map is interesting. I guess the first question is how does a compass work at that point? Because well, I guess magnetic. So what is the rim, or I guess the center is still the magnetic north directing your compass. So east would still be east. It's just east isn't a straight line. East is a circle. Am I right?
No.
East just becomes clockwise, and west becomes counterclockwise.
Well, I guess the assumption, and I don't know for sure. I assume the assumption is that if you have a circle, you divide into quadrants of, you get your north, south, east, west, and everything in between. North, east,
then how
west.
do you? Oh.
And I think it just stays stagnant.
But then that wouldn't stay consistent with the way we travel now. For example, for us, let's say China's east. I understand you can go west to get to China, but let's just say China's east.
Right.
If you open up that circle, split it into quadrants, depending on where you are on the map, China could be south. So like that wouldn't work, right? Like you'd still have to apply the east and west thing, which would then make it clockwise, counterclockwise. I don't really know where I was going with that. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, you lost me, but hey, you lost yourself too, which is great. I
did.
I'm not the only one in the podcast who's gone lost.
That's how fucking bizarre this whole theory is. Okay, so how are lunar eclipses accounted for?
Dude, I don't even know how they work in real Earth, let alone flat Earth. You're saying like the sun and the moon overlapping?
No, so those are solar eclipses. Lunar eclipses are when the Earth is in between the sun and the moon, and Earth's shadow is casted onto the moon. Now, if it's a flat Earth, how the hell does that happen?
Well, I guess because if we're still having the situation, maybe all the plants are flat. Let's assume all the plants are flat. They're all
Okay.
facing the center, which revolves around us because everything revolves around the human life, and everything specifically revolves around me and my life, right? So in that case, they're always facing you, so it doesn't change anything.
You know what I think is actually interesting about that is I read that the flat Earth conspiracy is a pretty good example of solipsism, which we talked about in our reality episode, where that basically nothing exists outside of your own consciousness. So you're right. Yeah, the world does revolve around you, and there's really no way to prove that it doesn't.
Correct. I already know that.
And you believe it with your whole heart.
100%. My whole
Yeah, fair.
I have a flat heart. We can talk about that later.
So okay, so now I know one of the arguments that they make, flat earthers make for the lunar eclipse is that there is an anti-moon orbiting Earth as well that disrupts the color of the moon during lunar eclipses, but I suppose we can't see it at other times. Now,
Okay.
I agree. It sounds crazy, but to be fair, how could you discredit that? What? Because we haven't seen it? We haven't seen a crap ton of shit out there that we know exists.
The thing that's just so brutal is that someone could tell me about something and list me facts, and I couldn't tell you different because I haven't been to space personally. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't tell you.
True. That's
Another
true.
another thing to kind of go back on your like satellites and all that good stuff. So you guys remember Felix, the guy from Red Bull who jumped.
Yeah.
So he even said himself that when he jumped, they had to use a fisheye lens because the Earth did not look spherical from when he jumped.
Stop it. No, he didn't say
So
that.
they used no. This is actually what he said. I actually read his interview, where he even said they had to use a fisheye to simulate the Earth being spherical.
Well, maybe he just wasn't high enough.
He should have smoked more pot.
Papa Molly, something. I don't know.
No, but I'm sure. But at that point, he is one of the people who has gone up there. We could say that, or we can debunk and be like, well, no one's technically gone up there due to the theory.
Sure.
But if he was one of the people who went up there, and he even said himself, yeah, the Earth did not look spherical for me, then, I mean, Red Bull makes more money than NASA, right? So,
I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
yeah, me neither. Well, I mean,
Honestly.
yeah. I support Red Bull more often than I support NASA.
Have you ever supported NASA?
Of course. I bought a T-shirt one time that had NASA on it.
Yeah, from like Urban Outfitters. You support Urban Outfitters, not NASA.
Yeah, but please, licensing. That's a whole nother conspiracy, licensing.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly. Okay, so you and I were talking about this in the beginning, in our little pre-show. Gravity, how gravity is explained with flat earthers. Anyone who doesn't know, fuck, how in depth do we want to go into this? Okay. Newtonian gravity is essentially large masses, or any mass has an effect on each other, it pulls each other together. The larger mass typically wins, and has this gravitational pull to it. A flat Earth wouldn't have that because there's no rotation. There's no, well, I guess you can say there's no effect on space time. But the flat Earth argument for it is that Earth, the gravitational pull is an illusion, and what's actually happening is Earth is flying upwards due to dark matter, and that upwards motion is what creates the sensation of gravity. You said you didn't like that.
Yeah, I dislike it.
Well, why is that? I thought it was at least. I'm not saying it's true. I think it's interesting.
It is interesting because when you try to argue it, anything can be discussed as if you're talking about normal gravity. Like if I were to say like, okay, but what if I throw something in the air, it comes back, it goes up first, comes back down, rather than instantly having a dip. But it'll move at a certain speed where it's relative. We can have the same argument of, well, because it moves at a certain speed, which is why you can throw something and your velocity will send it back down eventually, right?
Sure.
The reason why I personally don't like it is because when I personally think of, let's say, falling or jumping, dropping something, I personally think of the bounce of an object. I feel like if the Earth was going up, there would be no bouncing, or there would be minimal bouncing, depending on if it's rubber. Obviously, there would be a bounce. But like, if you throw a piece of paper, that little subtle movement it has after it lands, to me, shows that the gravity is actually the opposite way. But the same argument can be made. That's where it's always fishy, because it'd be like, well, you could say the argument of, well, if it's stuck, if it's going to the ground, because that's where the gravitational pull is, there's still a bounce.
Yeah, I mean, I still think transfer of energy and what's the word I'm looking for? What is it when you? I don't remember. I don't remember what it's called.
Ejaculation?
Yeah.
Too off topic?
When you're gonna splurge. No, I've got the words I'm looking for. That Terramon Tequila's already got into my head. But I think, obviously, like you mentioned, rubber stuff, like there's still a transfer of energy, and if not all of the energy in the fall is dispersed into the ground, there's going to be a opposite and equal reaction, right? So it's gonna bounce.
Right. There's gonna be
like,
movement.
there's gonna be movement. I don't think that the upward motion creating gravity would negate that.
For me, always the way I think of it is like if you were on an elevator going up.
Okay.
The way you are to drop something on an elevator that's moving and you feel it moving, it's different than you being in just a non-moving surface. The way it drops.
I've never actually tried that. That's an interesting experiment.
You never tried that? I tried it as a kid, but sorry, go for it.
I was just gonna say I'm not clumsy. I don't drop shit.
Okay. But yeah, but then, the argument can also be had where it's like, well, I mean, when I'm standing still, I don't feel myself being pulled to the ground. Like, that's the argument I've always heard with flat earthers, where it's like, I'm standing still, I don't feel myself being pulled to the ground. Or it's like, but do you feel yourself being lifted up? Like, I don't, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, isn't that just inertia? Like, aren't you gonna get used to?
Yes, absolutely.
The movement.
Like, you get adapted to everything. Even in space, if you were to go in zero gravity, you adapt to that very quick. And get used to that very fast.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think that argument has
bearing. I agree.
Too much. Yeah.
I don't know. That's where I always get stuck in terms of, like, I don't know how to argue that. I don't know how to argue that because I don't even know where, like, it's interesting how that theory came about.
Yeah, it's very interesting. The other thing too, that I was looking at that I think is an interesting point to look at in the conspiracy is horizons and perspectives. I don't know if you saw that one at all when you were doing your little homework, but like, let's say you're standing at a pier and you see a ship sailing away. If the Earth was flat, you would just see it vanish in the distance at the exact same proportions as it is. Whereas what would really happen is it would disappear over the horizon.
Correct. So I had heard about that. Now, I did see a little bit about it. And they're talking about heat, where it's heat that creates it from distancing. So when you're looking at something that's super far, there's going to be heat in between you and that object. That heat is also how mirages happen, where you get, I guess, disappearances of certain things, or you can call them illusions, where when you have that much heat in between you and that object, that much distance, there's different climate changes and stuff like that, it will change your perspective on what you see. Or it will change in terms of it's going just so far out of range that your human eye just can't capture that anymore. Right? Because it becomes so small, where it could still be there, but for you it's not. Just because you don't have a telescope, let's say.
So let's say you did have a telescope.
Well, telescopes cancel out heat. See, and that's where that argument, to me, it's like, well, what if you had, like, assistance, something that helps you see that far in the distance? How does it stop? And that's where the argument becomes again, where the Earth, when they say flat Earth, they don't say the Earth is flat. They're saying that it is, it's called planetarium, where there's still going to be ups and downs in the Earth atmosphere, which is why maybe it's just on a dip.
So you mean like ocean swells?
Yes.
And whatnot.
Let's say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair argument because that shit happens all the time.
So yeah, that's an argument where like I was hearing someone talk about their main argument was heat, that there's heat, that it starts interfering between the distance between what you can see something, and which is why it's very hard to see something because you see a bunch of climate change. It's almost like I guess like light fog. You'll still see it up to a certain point, and eventually it'll be gone because there's vapor in front of you, where
Mm.
heat causes humidity, and it can cause different vapor changes as well in the climate and the atmosphere. And I'm like, that's so super interesting that someone comes about and finds that argument for that.
Yeah. Wow. That, I mean, yeah, you can't really. I mean, you can argue that. You can absolutely argue that with today's technology. But I see
I
how.
could not personally.
I was gonna say. I mean, you could see. That's what I find so fascinating about this conspiracy is you could see how that argument has some sort of grounds in a in a specific time, back in the day. But nowadays,
With
how does
all
that still stand?
yeah, with
With
all
all
our
the technology we have, how does that still stand?
it's funny because with all this technology, the flat Earth movement has come out. I would like to say, not, I wouldn't say very very recent, but pretty recent when we still had technology to debunk almost everything that they have told us and said.
Well, that's the. I mean, was it annually? The Flat Earth Society is growing by like 200 followers annually.
Really?
That's alarming. Now, mind you, probably a lot of that's trolls, but I feel like that tells you a lot about society, or at least in the Western world.
Well, see, the thing is, they have arguments, and it's almost like, and not to stray too off far topic, but you watch murder docs, and you can agree where someone is doing something. You're like, you know what, like they're disagreeing with stuff I agree with them with, but their motive and reasoning for it, you're like, that's where I disagree. It's because their execution and their end all thought process is where it doesn't match. Where for me, you were to say, I believe in this thing because I've seen it, and I'll be like, well, I don't believe in it. Or you can say like, I believe in it and I see it, and so many people have told me it's true. Where I can be like, I disagree. Right? You can talk about that religion and etc. Not going to go again too far off topic with that.
So I'm glad you brought up motives and stuff. What is the benefit? What's the reason for thinking this is a conspiracy?
Honestly, and majority of people who believe and are flat earthers, which is very interesting, which I actually read this statistic, like 99.9% of them are into other conspiracies, not just flat earth. So it's been people who've already had false, I guess, security about government. So people who believed, like let's say 9/11 conspiracy, which we can agree, for majority of us, there's certain issues in that and gaps that just don't make sense. And
Sure.
we're not going to go into it because we were going to do 9/11, but we talked about that plethora. Everyone's talked about that, right? Different government conspiracies where you lose faith in the government, what they have to say. And that's when, if someone brings up another reason for you to disbelieve the government, makes you be like, I'll give it a shot. I'll entertain
Interesting.
the theory. And then people in flat earth will not only just sell you on flat earth, they'll sell you on what you want to hear about everything as a whole about the government. And you'll be like, this is another reason for me to disagree with the government. I'm in.
So, okay, I get that. I'm not entirely surprised by it. But what do they think the government's reasoning for a round Earth is? Like, what does the government gain by making us believe it's a round Earth?
To control. Apparent, everyone. I know even a lot of friends who are all about government is trying to control us every step of the way. The lockdown is not really a virus; it's to control us. You know what I mean? I know people who sincerely mean that, and they like to think that the government hides this from us because it'll give. If we were to find out that the Earth was actually flat, it would give everyone a reason to fight back and be like, "You guys have sold us on so much incorrect data that our whole world is a lie to us, that we're being controlled."
So okay, but why would they say it's a round Earth to begin with?
I think the reason why they would say it's around Earth is to give us, I guess, is to really test how much we can fall into being a prisoner of what they want us to believe.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it too, I guess it could play into I mean, the whole Cold War thing, and if you believe that the moon landing was a conspiracy and that it was just a big plan to get Soviet Union to dump a whole bunch of money into a useless project, you'd have to back it up with something, right? So you'd have to be like, oh, well, look what we found out, this and that. And yeah, the Earth is round. Look at these photos. So I guess they've committed, again, if you believe it's a conspiracy, they've committed so much into this lie that they now need to keep it that way. Otherwise, like you said, if they find out that it's actually flat, they'll be like, whoa, you fuckers, you've been lying to us this whole time.
For centuries.
For centuries. Well, yeah, whether that was intentional for centuries, but
Right.
like at least in recent history, it's intentional. Yeah, I see how chaos could ensue from there.
So yeah, what I watched was a video of a guy who went to a flat Earth conference and basically asked them the questions and realized that majority of them believed in other or already falsified other government conspiracies, which is why another reason to disbelieve the government. Yeah, just count me in. I'm easy peasy. I got you.
Huh.
Which is interesting.
Should we take this moment to honor Carl's mom with a shot?
Yeah, I'm down.
Cool.
Carl's mom.
Carl's mom, baby. Pour up another Terramana. Cheers.
Cheers.
I just want to say real quick, shout out to who is this? Multi Tom Tom says you guys are clueless noobs. I'm not even gonna argue with him. You're fucking right, homie. We're trying to figure this out.
We are trying to figure out legit the flat.
And please,
Earth.
please don't be fooled into thinking we're taking ourselves very seriously.
Yeah, if you join in part way, just so you guys know, we're not actually flat earthers.
We're not. Yeah.
We are trying to be the devil's advocate here in terms of how they think, and does it make do certain things make sense or not?
And we're having a real fucking hard time because there's no logic to it. Anyways, hey, cheers, Scott Hogg. Glad to see you're here. Hope your eye's doing well.
What happened to his eye?
I don't know. He had to get like emergency. Did I say that? Yeah, emergency surgery on his eye.
Sorry to hear
a couple
that, bro.
tears or so. Yeah. It was from looking at pics of my face because I was so beautiful. He could not physically take it. That's what the doctor said.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
Yeah.
now, I think I don't know about you, but I think it'd be kind of cool to talk about Nibiru / Planet X.
I agree. Let's transition into that. So
Let's transition.
Do you want to talk? So let me ask you.
Sure.
I did some research, but for the people who don't know, what is Nibiru?
Okay, so first things first, Nibiru is this sick ass Yu-Gi-Oh card. Your opponent summons 5 times or more in a turn. You get to wipe the board, summon a token on their side of the field. JKZ. Actually, that's not a joke. It's real. But the conspiracy theory behind Nibiru is / Planet X. And Planet X, calling it Planet X gets a little iffy because... Okay, I'm gonna go with Nibiru because it kind of specifies it a little more. But the idea is that there is this brown dwarf, and what a brown dwarf is essentially the Mexican equivalent of a leprechaun. No, actually, what a brown dwarf is it's like a really dim star that doesn't quite get classified as a star. I don't remember why. I don't know what the criteria is, but the size is what matters here, and the size range is between the largest of the gas giants and the smallest of stars. So just so you get a grasp of it, that is a titanic body of mass. That's massive. That's huge in comparison to Earth. Now, the conspiracy is that this thing is actually an additional planet in our solar system that we're not entirely aware of. That orbits every 3,600 years or so, and its orbit once it passes
every 10,000 years apparently.
Is it 10?
Apparently,
I don't know. We're at 36.
10,000.
I mean, there are a lot of branches off of Nibiru and stuff, which we can absolutely get into because I think it's super fascinating. But either way, the whole point is that when this thing orbits, its gravitational pull will either disrupt Earth's magnetic poles and our position and throw us off axis and kill humanity, or it'll do the same to a bunch of asteroids and meteors and pull them into the direction of Earth, thus ending in something like the dinosaurs with a severe impact.
Can't
Yeah,
wait.
so
Can't wait.
I think that sounds cool as shit. No?
I think so. I hope I don't get to see it, but yeah, it sounds pretty rad.
I mean, part of me I'd be down to see it. Fuck it, why not?
Honestly, with half the jokes people say nowadays, I would be I wouldn't be surprised if people actually want to see it happen.
Now, okay, let's start with this. Obviously, right off the bat, I see why. Okay, obviously, the conspiracy is that the government's hiding that this could happen. I see why that would happen. If the government told us all that there is this inevitable cosmic body that's going to pass by and certain death for all humanity, who's going to work tomorrow? Who's following the laws? Who cares about money? Like, everything's over. Everything's over.
So, where did this conspiracy come to be?
Okay, so there's this guy. I forget his name. I feel like his last name's like Stitch or something like that. I probably got that wrong.
Oh,
There's some
first name Lilo.
There's some guy. I forget his name, and he did some interpretations of Sumerian texts and Mesopotamian texts. Excuse me, referencing Nibiru. Nibiru being like a gatekeeper type of god in their religious texts and whatnot. And they actually even referenced the Nibiru planet being like a turning point or something like that. I might be mixing that up. But anyways, he made the interpretation that Nibiru is actually this giant planet within our solar system that has not been recorded. And I suppose in the Sumerian texts, it's that Nibiru is supposed to symbolize the end or transition of humanity, which is why he interpreted it as it wiping out humans. And he kind of sparked it. Then there was this other lady, I believe it was in the 70s. I forget her name as well. She claims that she can communicate with aliens. Okay. I believe it was via a chip that they put in her head. Honestly, when it comes to alien stories like that and stuff now, I really don't know who to question because shit's been wild this past year, so I don't really know anymore. But yeah, so she claims that the aliens told her that Nibiru is going to wipe out the humans, and that's where she gets it from too.
So the initial thought was this wipeout of the humans was December 21st, 2012.
That was her. That was her prediction. That's what she said the aliens told her. Yes. That's what a lot of people don't know about the whole 2020 end of the world conspiracy, is that it's actually
2012.
What did I say?
2020.
I guess I was just hoping for 2020. Yeah. Yeah, no, 2012 is that it actually stems from Nibiru.
Which is crazy. It's crazy to think that people believe that there's another huge mass out there that could wipe us out. Now, something interesting is the way they discovered. I'm gonna say it wrong, but we all know as Uranus. Some people call it Uranus, the planet Uranus. So I'm gonna keep it that way because it just feels nice. Is that they saw a gravitational pull through a telescope doing observations, and they realized, hey, like the gravitational pull between certain things is showing that there should be another planet over there due to its mass. Yep. Now, the reason why people are now believing of Nibiru is because in the, and I'm gonna probably butcher, in the Kuiper belt, also known as like ice bodies, is that there are certain objects that are pulling towards something as if there's a landmass there, and it's none of the planets that we currently have out there, showing that there is an existence or potential for a ninth planet, which is Planet X / Planet Nibiru.
So that's the difference there is, like, yeah, Planet X is just this extra planet in there. And like you said, these are real recordings. And this is like some pretty interesting evidence anyways that there's that suggests that there's another body out there being Planet X. Now, where Nibiru takes it is that this Planet X is going to be the end of humanity. Where Planet X takes it is just that it exists. So there's a little bit of a difference in there, but personally, based on the things that they're talking about right now, I don't think there's any reason to doubt that Planet X exists. Now, what its effects on us will be, that's where we're up for debate. But based on what's out there so far, again, fuck, I'm no expert, but I don't see any reason to deny it exists.
What's always crazy is that you hear most of these theories about the planets, not really flat Earth, from scientists, which then makes it like, yo, this person obviously knows more than me. So it makes it hard to question these things where a scientist gives you math equations of why there could be a planet due to gravitational pulls, and you're like, they show you a chalkboard full of symbols I've never seen in my math class, and I'm like, that looks pretty good to me. So
you know, that's one of the things that I have an issue with. Maybe not. Yeah, I guess an issue with people who just so wholeheartedly believe in science. Just hey, I read it in a textbook, therefore it's right. Like science is wrong a lot of the time. And we need to understand science is just making sense of things. And in order to make sense of things, you got to make errors at certain times. And also, we're making sense of things within a system that we created ourselves. So it might make sense within our system, but does that make it objectively true? Probably not. I don't know if I made my point clear there, but I'm just saying is if the equations that we created ourselves show that there's a planet or that there isn't a planet, doesn't mean it's not there, because that just seems kind of narcissistic, doesn't it? Like, just because our math, like the planet doesn't care about our math, we might be missing something very crucial here.
I think what the hard part is that you have certain intellectuals of the world now telling you, and when you hear scientist, you automatically assume this person knows their shit. They're a scientist. And that's when but then you can hear about people who, like, there's probably a scientist who believes in the flat earth theory. Right, and they could probably give you more reasons than I can give you reasons not as to why it's not true. Right, so it's very difficult because people believe in what they believe in. It's very tough, right?
I actually read this article that I thought was so neat, and it was just talking about how scientists don't often take into consideration statistical analysis, and how that could lead to false findings a lot of the time. And I'll give you an example. This is the exact example that I read in this paper that I thought was so interesting. Is let's assume you're at, let's say, Union Station, and you're on a train, and there's 100,001 people.
Yeah.
Someone on that train gets mugged, and immediately all the doors lock so that they can find who this mugger is. Now, what they do is they take the victim's bag, they scan it for fingerprints, and then they're going to go match everyone's fingerprint and see who they get. Now, the technology they have, there's a 1% error. 1%. Now, out of 100,001, that's 100 people.
Right.
1% is 100 people. That's 100 people who could be falsely accused of this. Now, when you gather all those 100 people, well, there's 101, including the actual perp. You pick one person out of the potential guilty party, there's a 99.9% chance that that person's actually innocent. Now, when you go and put those stats in front of you, say, hey, this has a 1% chance of being wrong, a 99% chance of me finding the right guy. When you look at the actual stats of the group that you're polling and whatnot, you actually, I mean, you could be very wrong. Again, you have 100 people and 99.9% that they could be innocent, and you have no way of telling.
It's true. It's when we're putting anything that has any sort of error percentage, you're already putting it at risk. When there's the larger the number, the more risk you have. Obviously, if you're 99.9% chance and there's 5 of us, you're like, nah, I'm pretty confident in my answer. But the larger the group, the more unconfident you are with your answer.
Exactly. And those things aren't ever, well, not aren't ever, but are rarely reported in these scientific findings, which are very important things, and which would lead us to believe differently, or how strongly we feel when we read these papers and studies.
It's true. It's very crazy. Another thing is that mind blown me about this whole Nibiru or even Planet X is when people talk about, hey, like this thing is supposed to supposedly be 10 times the size of Earth.
Yeah.
And supposed to be traveling fairly close to Earth, which is why it should be visible from Earth with at least a telescope. Mm-hmm. And the argument is, well, you can only see it from the southern hemisphere, where it's like, well, we still have thousands of scientists with telescopes, thousands of telescopes out in the southern hemisphere
Yeah.
observing. So how does none of that get caught? Another thing is as well, it also orbits in an elliptical pattern
Yep.
around the sun. What elliptical, by the way, means is that rather than it being full circular, it kind of goes more in like an oval shape.
Yep.
I guess a good example is like if you're looking at like a tank's. This is a really bad example actually. A tank's treading, like the way it has like the chain that goes around the wheels, rather than a full.
That's
circle.
what you picked.
A terrible example. Never mind. It's that it orbits in such a way that it hides perfectly from us, and I'm like, it's so hard to believe now because now you're giving something that's. How am I supposed to believe that? Like, how am I supposed to assume that's true? But also, how am I supposed to assume it's wrong when I don't know?
Yeah, it's true. The other argument I heard was that it's hidden behind the sun, and that's why you can't see it. Is because if you can't fucking look at the sun, you go blind, and it's hidden behind there.
It's like.
Yeah, it's playing fucking peekaboo with us. One of the things that I thought was also very interesting is very closely tied to Nibiru is the Nemesis Conspiracy. I don't know if you heard about Nemesis.
That I do not know.
Sounds badass as fuck.
Because you think of Nemesis as in like the Resident Evil.
100% you do.
Of course you do.
100% you do.
Yeah.
Stars, baby. No, but what Nemesis is, it's very similar to Nibiru in the sense that there's this giant mass that's going to end the human race. Now, what I think is interesting about this one is the theory is that this orbit is 26 some odd million years. That's how long it takes for this thing to orbit. What's interesting about
sorry. How the fuck do you find that out? Like, how do you find? Like, is there residue in the sky that like, yo, that looks like a 26.4 million year kind of deal right there? Like, how the?
It's like when you count the tree lines, like when you cut a tree down, you count the lines, see how old it is. No, that's not how it works.
What did we cut to find out? You cut some popcorn ceiling. You're like, 26.4 million.
That's it. Yeah, so you know.
Oh my god.
No, so how it works, or how they found out, or how they came to the hypothesis, anyways, which I think is very interesting, is it was actually archaeologists who were studying mass extinction on the planet, and there happened to be mass extinctions every 25-ish million years. Every 25-ish million years, there was mass extinction on the planet, and oftentimes due to impact. So these archaeologists are like, well, what the fuck is going on? That this fairly, when I say freak or consistent period, mass extinction. And then they're looking at all this stuff on the planet and they're like, could it be something extraterrestrial? And that's kind of where they came up with this idea of what if there's this orbit of 26 million years and every time this Titan passes us, it fucks shit up somehow. Look who we've got, guys. Look who
I have my
Where is that?
it's my work thing. I didn't know that was the case.
You put that as your background for work. By the way, nice new room.
You look so much older with this facial hair, but I don't hate it.
It wasn't on purpose. It was I had trimmed it too short, and then I didn't realize you could see literally like my whole room in this.
You couldn't make your bed for the podcast.
I know, right?
No, it wasn't normally like that.
Yeah, that TV looks like 15 inches, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's normally worse, by the way. His bed's usually like flipped upside down fully.
Because I'm late, I'm gonna drink some Pink Whitney. Change it up with what I'm shooting this week.
What's the percentage?
30.
Okay,
30%.
solid.
Yo,
I mean, actually, it's only 10. Never mind.
What?
Yeah, you did all right. No, I was gonna jump into chat, but that's early, man.
Are you guys gonna shoot with me, or am I gonna shoot by myself?
No, you're shooting by yourself. What the hell? What do you think this is?
You owe us 2 shots because of my joke.
Finish the bottle.
You just chug it straight back.
Yeah. Why'd you put it down?
Okay.
Anyways, so we don't lose track of where we were.
So
what are we talking about?
Okay. How about we engage with chat here, and then we'll get Matty back into the situation. Scott Hall had talked about there's full cycles of, I guess, like wipes. Kind of what you were saying, like there's going to be certain time periods where there's full extinctions. Is it extraterrestrial?
Yep.
Wasn't the dino extinction like 60 million years ago? I don't know.
Yeah, well, no, he's right. It is roughly 60 million years ago. However, and that's the first thing that popped into my mind too. And I was like, excuse me, dinos were more than 26 million years ago.
65 mil.
Okay, there you go. But I guess that doesn't rule out that something else didn't. There wasn't a different mass extinction at that time. Oh, sorry, in between there, 26 million years ago. I don't know, but that'd be interesting.
I want to talk about something I know you guys talked about earlier quickly, but with the whole flat Earth thing, isn't that what happened? Isn't that how the dinosaurs extinct? Because when the meteor hit the Earth, because it's flat, it like literally catapulted them into outer space, and they just like that's how that happened, right? Speaking of mass extinction,
and the dinosaurs that were in their houses, aka caves, because they knew how to do that, became oil for us.
Yeah, they're the ones that were fossils.
100%.
Yeah, but the rest of them just literally slingshot catapult right in outer space.
Yeah,
you didn't even warm up with the shit you came in with, eh? This guy just shows up with some.
I'd seen a video and I'm like, that's how it happened.
SpaceX actually, or the ninth planet is actually a gigantic Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Lucas, since you have your browser open, can you Google for me mass extinction 26 million years ago? I just want to see if there was an extinction and what it was.
Million years. It's actually an autofill, which is surprising. Astrophysicists hypothesis that periodic comet showers occur in the solar system every 26 to 30 million years, producing. I don't think it's going to tell me the answers. I think it's just going to tell me exactly what we're trying to say. And during those times, comet showers are possible, leading to mass extinctions possibly. However, we had missed the last period, which is why it's saying that our last mass extinction was the dinosaurs. Then we missed a period. Now we're coming up for another one, which should be a good time shortly.
Yeah, should be a blast. I'd like to draw attention to chat real quick that not J Mark made a great point that the quality of this podcast just went down terribly.
No, he said terribly.
He did say that's right. He did.
He also said he can't commit to the facial hair change. I'll change it. I gotta go back. I tried to trim it. I just I trimmed it too short.
Sorry, Matty. Can you grab a Sharpie and just fill it in for now, or something?
Yeah.
Or just do this. Can you just do this for now?
Oh. Yeah. Let me go get my disguise that comes with the nose and the mustache. Yeah. It's my other glasses that have that.
This guy was fucking listening to us. Okay, to your little teeter-totter catapult theory, Scott Hall just said, but they would be held in by the pressure of the atmosphere. So,
the atmosphere flat. I guess. Okay, I see it because it's flatter. It's not a sphere.
Because he did say atmosphere. Scott Hall did say atmosphere flat.
No, because
he did say atmosphere. That's so funny. That's actually brilliant. I didn't even catch that. I just filled it in. I filled in the blanks.
What the hell, dude?
That's funny. Atmosphere flat.
So atmosphere. No, well, depending on the trajectory speeds, I don't know how fast, but I think they may have been able to break out of.
So how giant this meteor would have to be to just launch the Earth so hard.
No, he's right.
Not the Earth. It didn't launch the Earth. It literally just hit it. It's like a teeter totter.
Okay, well that's what I mean. Still.
Yeah. What do you mean? How big the meteor? Do you know how big the meteor was?
It was something like this.
No, it depends. Yeah, true. It depends because if the meteor was warm, it would expand, right? So it'd be a bigger hit. So that really depends.
Very true.
How close the sun was, and if I farted that day to increase the Earth's atmosphere as well in terms of pressure, that way you can just.
Yo, Matt, you have a wife beater you can put on,
so you can look like aggressive.
So you can look like a dirtbag.
I don't look like one enough already.
No, I feel like we could do better.
I don't like these are blue light. I'm not big into the whole blue light thing, but it came for free, so I was like, yeah. But I don't like them because now you can see my reflection of my screen in my glasses. Which maybe I just won't wear them on the podcast, but then I can't see the podcast. So
that's fine. You don't need to.
Yeah, I know. Lucas is ugly enough. So.
Oh yikes! I actually thought our podcast was very handsome until about 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago, it got real ugly.
He just joined 5 minutes ago. What happened the 5 minutes before that?
I don't know. You made a weird face.
Yo, can I do a quick? Since it's supposed to be my joke of the week, can I go for one?
No, you could do it after we finish the topic. So at 10:15 or so, you could do it.
Okay, that's fine. My watch is dead too.
So is there any other Or let's figure it out. Is there any other little tidbits that you missed that you want to talk about as far as flat Earth goes? Maybe Nibiru, Nemesis,
Um,
Planet X.
yeah, which one did I read about Planet? Yeah, like I buy into the whole Planet X thing where it's like the government is, you know, if it is true, let's say, like they totally would be like, yo, don't worry, like it's not. Wait, sorry, which is the one about the meteor, the giant meteor, or the?
No, that's Nibiru / Planet X. Also,
yeah, that one. I could
Nemesis.
totally see like the government like covering that up so people don't freak out.
So something that was interesting that I heard an
I'm
article
just
about.
gonna eat on this.
Where seriously? Okay, well, they're always talking about how, scientifically speaking, there's no existence of a flat Earth due to scientific method. Let's say math equations that kind of just show orbit and
Math is
gravitational pull,
made up.
etc. Right? Right. And technically, math was created, right? Not well. Sorry. Equations were created. Let me backtrack there.
Okay.
But there's such thing as natural science, which is we learned as a human species, we observe something, saw a pattern, and we started making our own hypothesis off that. And flat earthers argued that they're more scientifically inclined with their opinions than actual scientists because rather than using man-made equations, they use their observance of, I go in a straight line, I don't feel like I'm going in a curvature, I feel like I'm going flat all the time, therefore it's a flat earth. And I was like, I hate that.
That sounds so dangerous.
It sounds so two-dimensional of a thought.
Well, it's flat, so that would make sense.
Well, the issue with that is that you, goddamn, now is the worst time for that to gain any sort of traction because everyone makes these fucking points now that are based entirely off of emotions and feelings. And I feel this, my truth, this and that grants too much merit to that. Whereas, you gotta back your shit up with facts. And how do you get your facts? You gotta prove it. You gotta do.
I want to touch on that quickly because, so to tie into Luke's whole, math or equations were something that was created. All of our technical measurements that we use as reference points are created. There's no who determined that 12 inches is a foot? Like they're just like, it's just universally agreed on that this is how it is because we've all agreed that. But
they're like,
it could be
this
something
is
one
how
day.
We do it.
Yeah. But again, there could be scientific discovery that we find where it's just like, actually, gravity's force is actually this because what's come to light now has changed. So that's where, from challenging scientific things, like, I think it's fair to an extent because what we know, we only know what we know. Like, there could be things we discover that, change. Like, actually, a foot isn't this long. Like, it's actually this long. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I was alluding to earlier, is that, our science and stuff is man-made, and it's our way of understanding things, but it's constantly changing, and it's constantly under review. So just to say it's science isn't enough. For example...
what doesn't change? The religion. God doesn't change.
I think it does change, but I could be wrong, because I'm not religious, but whatever.
Religion is the truth. I don't know why my fingers went so blurry.
Yeah, your own camera's trying to kick you out of the podcast. But no, a perfect example to me is a bumblebee, right? Like
a transformer? Pretty sick.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck that guy. No, but bumblebees and bees in general, really. Once upon a time, and this was back when we were able to fly, we can make our own planes. We were pretty well experts at aviation, and I know it's a myth. I'm going to get to that, but people would look at bees and bumblebees and be like, this shit should not be able to fly based on our aviation knowledge. But they're fucking flying, so what the fuck? So they figure it out, and they say, oh shit, they're just flying a different way than us. They're not doing this, they're doing this, and our science kind of evolved. And that happens all the time. All the time, science is getting revised, rejected, reapproved, and that's, I think, a very important thing. So just to say Neil deGrasse Tyson said this ain't good enough for me.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
It should be human nature for us to question things because that's how you evolve and that's how you learn. Like, as a child, you question things and you learn from it. The problem is when you start following everything is when you become, I guess, complacent. And you don't really get to learn anymore. You just become, I guess, a sheep to society, which is, wow, this is a really conspiracy way of thinking. But, I mean, there's certain things that are unquestionable. And I think that is that the earth is round. I don't think there's a reason why we should be questioning that. When
So-
I personally feel like there's enough out there for me to be like, I understand that the Earth is round because that's, or is it that it's because all I know, but I don't have a reason to question it.
Yeah, there was some.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about before, like how can they, they have pictures of it, make it look 3D, but it's like in a picture, anything can look 3D.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the way the shape, you know what I mean? Like you can definitely alter, not necessarily alter, but like just the what's the word I'm looking for? Perspective makes it look a certain way. So it could be like, well, it's flat, but the way they take the pictures in outer space, that's controlled by the government, makes it look like it's it's fucking round. That was something I wanted to. You guys were talking about earlier that I wanted to like detail to you. I want to call out Karl Marx. He brought up a point. Flat earthers work backwards. They start with the conclusion and find evidence to support their theory.
100%.
I feel like I know people who argue like that.
Yeah.
What do you call those kind of people?
Idiots. I've literally seen, like, I love watching those videos where like people feel so, like people go to these marches and stuff and they feel so strongly about their point, and like someone will go with like a reporter and be like, oh, well, what do you think of this, blah blah blah, and this guy, I forget what it was, but the guy brought up some point, fantastic point, he holds the mic to the lady, and the lady's like, I don't know how to argue that, and I was like, don't argue it just because you feel like you have to. Like, if he says a good point, he says a good point, just shut up and take it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we always talk about don't marry your ideas. Like, if you find new evidence that debunks your idea, then be open to the fact that you could have been wrong. Because people just.
What if my girlfriend is my idea? Do I then not marry?
Well, she's already wrong for being with you, which sucks, right?
Yeah, that's red flag number one.
Yeah.
Carl, shut up. Appreciate looking sharp with the new dude. Baby.
Stop.
Carl's drunk.
Yeah.
Stop
engaging
Doesn't matter. Drunk statements are sober thoughts.
So
Carl's drunk.
Chat, stop engaging Matt. Matt, stop engaging me, baby.
What was I gonna say? Yo, come on, let me hit you guys with my joke. It was a good joke too. At least I thought.
All right.
Hit us with your joke, Matt. Hold on. Before you do, chat. Let us know if Matt comes in late here and gives us a shitty joke. That's another 2 shots off the bat. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Matt. Floor is yours.
I just have a bite to eat. So,
okay. He's like, let me go tell my joke, but let me eat first.
I'm very big into ants. You guys know, I like to study ants in my free time. But do you know why they commonly refer to ants as females?
Why?
Because if they were males, they'd be uncles.
I actually knew that. Like, I thought the punchline was uncles, but I'm like, oh, that'd be really shitty. I hope he doesn't say that.
That's what you were gonna come with this week? That's what you're gonna come with this week?
Bring that heat, baby.
That's a no for me.
That's a definite no for me.
The fact that I knew I felt the punchline was gonna be uncles, but I'm like, it has to be better than that. And you hit it with uncles is terrible.
No.
That's terrible. Yeah. I'm so glad I fixed. I actually saved your ass by laying out a good
joke. He really
joke.
did. It was great.
I heard it yesterday, so I can't believe he brought a joke that I heard.
Oh, I did. I told him yesterday.
This guy, wow.
Yeah.
Scott Hall says, "I'm out." I don't know if that means he's like he's going,
like
or if he's.
My joke was that bad.
Oh,
like I'm done watching.
Whatever it is.
Like, I gotta go.
Thanks, Scott Hall. I think he's out, but
I gotta go.
Yo, hey, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna take a second to address the chat because I can, because I've been here from the beginning. Matt can't because he only just got here. But I'm gonna address the chat. And when I said Carl was drunk, he says, "No, not drunk, not a one drink yet." That's not even fucking English. So this guy's drunk.
Not a one drink.
Not a one drink yet. It's either this guy's super foreign all of a sudden or he's drunk. I'm gonna go with the latter.
I didn't know he was foreign. That's so cool, man.
Is that cool?
Yeah, my parents are foreign too.
Oh well, because my joke. I'll actually drink because it was. I know it was really good. You guys just only give me the credits. I'll drink to that.
It wasn't.
I think that may have been the worst joke on this podcast. Yeah, and that's saying something when I say it.
Yeah, yikes! That's a diss. That's a diss and a half. Carl says, "Not a one drink yet." That's just what I assumed.
Is that how
that's the accent I assumed he would have put on there. I hope
Why would you assume
right.
that?
Do we have a hypothetical for this week? Do you guys have one?
I don't have a specific one, but I could pull one out.
When you say pulling
No.
out, hypothetical, right? We're still on about hypothetical.
Sorry. Weird. My dick's name is hypothetical.
Classic. What is it? Let's hear it.
It's because it's so small that we call it a hypothetical because we don't know if it's existent.
Nice. Zing, dude. Good one.
We were partners this whole episode, man, and you just going through me like that.
Yeah, it's because there's nothing to trip Matty, but like he's a joke. He is a joke.
He is the joke. Yeah,
Look at that mess.
your joke of the week should have just been you smiling at the camera. We all would have thought it was great. Yeah, there you go. That's good. Okay, you want me to come up with a hypothetical?
Yeah, bring the heat.
Okay, no, you know what? Sorry, before we go into a hypothetical, I mean, I guess we don't always, but we sometimes ask those "how much would someone have to pay you" kind of questions, and it's always these ridiculous prices. So I kind of want to get into make it a little more real, make it a little more tangible. And I know I've asked you guys this before.
$5 billion.
Yeah, honestly.
That's it?
How much someone got to pay you? I've asked you guys this before, but again, we'll do it on the podcast. How much does someone got to pay you? Take a shit right now. Reach in the toilet and squish that bad boy through your fingers like Play-Doh.
My own shit.
Your own shit.
Just
You wash
do
your
that,
hands after.
and I just wash my hands after.
Yeah.
Hundo?
$100.
$100?
Guys, have we got an episode for you next week?
I will pay you. I will e-transfer you $100 right now. Right now.
Or okay, sorry. Let me reinstate something because I guess maybe I missed the point. I have to do this. I have to do this on camera for it to be posted online.
Yes.
Oh, that changes the price drastically. 50,
Okay, no.
$50.
Free fame, baby. Free fame.
I think honestly, for me to do that on stream, knowing that it's on the internet forever, would definitely increase the price.
Like, I would have to be set to, like, if I got fired because I'm like, hey, we found this video. Is this you? Like,
You'd get promoted.
Yeah,
What?
if you get promoted? I would say probably at least like 100K.
100,000?
Knowing that's online forever and my parents can go see that shit.
Okay.
Literally go see that shit.
what kind of poop is it that we're talking about here?
Whatever comes out of your body that day. I don't know.
Okay, if it's diarrhea, that's like, do I have to like scoop
That's
it up
not
like
my
it's
fault.
fucking-
That's not my fault. I don't care.
like,
Okay. Let's say it's not going on the stream, but you have to do it, and you have to take a picture of your hand with it spewing out, and at least send it to the other two people for them to confirm.
But you guys out of confidence won't post online, right? Please.
We won't post the picture, but we will tell people you did it.
Oh, okay.
and who knows? Maybe my account gets hacked by someone named Leanne C. Paul.
Yo, that's
And then,
fucking trash, eh? Who the fuck is that?
Matt fan 6969. I would say for me it would probably be just squeezing my own shit, taking a picture of it.
And you're only sending it to the other. Just let's say it's you. You're only sending it to Matt and I. We're confirming. We'll tell our guests.
I don't know, like 500, 1,000,
500, 1,000 is the lowest you're gonna go.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in that ballpark too.
What? That's the lowest? Yo, Karl Marx made a request though that you got to eat a spicy burrito.
Beforehand? Oh, then the price goes to $750.
Seriously though, 500 to $1,000?
Yeah. What about you?
150, $200? I'll do it for $200.
How about how about to post it online? Like if you did it on live stream. Not you shitting, but after you finish shitting, you go live stream. You're like, here we go, guys.
No, I want some money for that. That's at least $1,000.
He's like, that's at least an additional $50
Yeah,
plus HST.
that's at
You
least.
know how pissed would you
1,000.
be if you squeezed it and like
Why is it explosive?
Yeah.
How hard am I squeezing it? Why am I doing that?
you try to make the doll, the doll here and Play-Doh come out like that.
No. No. I'd say 250 for sure.
250.
Not the live stream. Though.
Chat, let us know if you want to pull in.
Yo, Karl Marx says he'll do it for $750. Guys, are we splitting that? I will pay Karl Marx to do it. Put your money where your mouth is. Not your money. Put your doo-doo. Put your doo-doo where your mouth
If
is.
we invite you into the podcast right now, can you please show us, and we'll e-transfer you. And in fact, instead of promoting Lee Grandchef at the beginning of our podcast, we'll promote you. You want your shit squeezed? Karl Marx is the guy for you. Make your shit a property.
He said reputations don't recover from stuff like that. It's true. You'll always be known as the shit squeezer.
What fucking reputation do I have? What reputation do I have that needs to recover?
That's true.
Not J Mark says, what are we betting? I don't think we're betting on anything.
We're just paying, but if you want to offer $100 to help us pay it out, like, I appreciate
yeah, sure. That. Yeah, we'll take your $100 for sure.
J Mark, you got to shit in the toilet and grab it and squeeze it in your hand. How much money? What's your price?
I feel like not J Mark is doing it right now for fun.
He's testing out.
Like, how you get Play-Doh?
I don't think this is worth $750.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing field research right now.
But Carl said no, not happening.
This guy said $750, and now he's back. I'll pay you $750, Carl.
Yeah, that's a quick $750. You'll flip that into like GME or Rich, dude.
Fuck off with your GME, god damn it.
Get quick rich.
Not J Mark says that's just every Tuesday. I knew it. Guy's
do you have a special name for that? Is that why you call it Taco Tuesday?
Yeah, you have a name for that, not J Mark?
Just hanging out with the boys and just for last 500.
Done. Karl Marx, next time we hang out, $500, I'll bring it. I'll bring the 500.
The first post-COVID party that we're all together at.
Yo, we will have a Causing a Ruckus party.
Yeah. We will have a free merch giveaway too.
But
yeah, man.
You're not allowed to cause a ruckus while you're there. It's gotta be a completely quiet party, no alcohol.
No peeing in the garden.
Definitely not peeing in the garden.
Everyone just squeezes in their own shit as entry fee.
Philadelphia stress ball.
That's amazing. Thank you, not J Mark. We are going to steal that, and it is officially called the Philadelphia Stress Ball. That is amazing. That's brilliant.
We should
For those who are joining in late,
we should get a shirt that has like a brown, like the fist.
So for those,
I'm on it. I will make that shirt.
For those who are joining in late, because I see someone you mentioned chat. We did talk about flat Earth for a little bit, and the conspiracies and what we believed, and you know
the dinosaurs
it's
when the
very
meteor
tough.
hit the Earth. We launched catapulted dinosaurs into space.
That was the one of the parts that ended up really.
They actually actually ties into the Planet X thing because that's what the mass is all the frozen dinosaurs and how long.
That's 10 times the size of Earth. All the dinosaurs that were on Earth. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, over time their gravitational pull that they've grown as a mass just collects things around them.
How do you grow your gravitational pull?
You just gain weight, bud.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So as they froze, they obviously got heavier, and because they were close enough together, they froze into one big chunk. And as they, that's just kind of how science works. So
you had a Joe Biden moment there. We're in the middle of a speech.
Did I fall up the stairs?
No, did you not see him giving a speech and he just like aborts halfway through his sentence?
He's like anyway.
Yeah. So good. Love that freaking senile old man. So if anything was gained out of this, it's that when summer hits and COVID restrictions lift, we will have a post for you guys of Karl Marx squeezing his doo-doo in his hands.
At a party.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that.
Sorry, he's not squeezing a doo-doo. He's showing us his Philly stress ball.
Yes. He's giving us a first-hand example of a Philly stress ball. Which went out. Yo, Shotty, no hot potato with the Philly stress ball. No thanks.
That's funny. Yo, that's like one of the Philadelphia stress ball. That's actually hilarious. So, J-Mark, kudos to that one, bro. That's good.
Legit.
Really
I will legit make a shirt.
I'll get one.
And I will take a shit. I mean, shirt. I'll take a shit.
Is that the sound it would make?
Yeah.
Horrible.
Let's hear it one more time. Let's hear it. Lukasz also has an ASMR channel. But...
I don't know.
You let me go like.
Why is your shit explosive when you squeeze it? It farts. Like I don't get it.
Bro, you have no idea how tight I can clench my hands.
Yo, I gotta say before we wrap up for the day, I did miss Kempo Consulting's chatting with himself all day. For any of the regulars, you'll notice
where's that guy been?
Kempo's always talking to himself in there, and we missed him today. But we'll catch him next week, I'm sure.
It's actually making you sick.
First beer not going down so nice.
He's trying to squeeze his beer bottle, being like, "It's not working." Oh, it's
Karl Marx. Does Karl Marx have a weak stomach? That's funny.
We'll find out. We'll find out soon.
Wow, that sounded like a threat.
mysterious.
Oh, we'll find out, bud.
Yeah, all
We'll
right.
find out.
Punch him in his gut. Any of you guys have any other points before we wrap up today?
I think we covered it, man. Flat Earth is something that's hard to come by, but it's just funny that even with stuff that we all know is not true, when you hear certain points about it, it's just so interesting to see how other people's mindset and certain things that you just can't argue, like that I wouldn't be able to argue with unless I did extensive research. And even at that point, it's like, well, there's just certain things that I just can't debunk. So obviously, we all know that Earth is not flat. But it's just funny to think how their mindset is, and that people follow that shit for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only point I want to add to it is Jeffrey Epstein, I don't think committed suicide. But
Why does everyone look so sober today? Carl asks.
because I just joined. I took like 3 shots in a row, but
I haven't stood up yet, but
hospital.
let's take another shot. Also, for the new viewers, Terramana tequila. I do recommend it. It's delish. It's delish.
Out of 10? What would you say out of 10?
As far as tequilas go, a good 8. 8.5. Yeah, it's solid.
I should send this book to the Rock.
I'm sorry? Oh, no, I'm going to send them the review at the beginning. Honestly, if you guys want, I gave a little review of this at the beginning. Go back and watch that if you want an honest review.
Cheers. Okay, let's do
My
a
McDonald's Coke is a rum and Coke, by the way, at McDonald's. Cheers.
Yo, also, sorry. Yeah, cheers, guys.
shot. Cheers.
To Carl's mom.
Carl's mom, as always.
Yeah.
Woo! Now, sorry, real quick before we go. Carl's talking about documentaries on Netflix. Anyone watching... I forget the official name of it, but you'll know what I'm fucking talking about when I say Cecil Hotel. Anyone watch that?
No.
Cecil Hotel? Guys, I've only watched the first 2 episodes. It's 4 episodes. Crazy.
What's it about? Quick.
Crazy. Okay, what it's about is this Asian lady from Vancouver, BC goes on a trip to LA, stays at the Cecil Hotel, fucked up hotel, and she goes missing. What happens? Who knows? No. I'm telling you, it's so worth it. Very well done.
Okay, fine, I'll watch it.
Crazy. You'll thank me for it. Great documentary. I recommend it.
Yep.
Well, I guess on that being said, guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next week. We'll think of some ideas. If you guys have any ideas ever about any categories you want us to talk about, topics makes more sense than categories. Let us know.
Categories.
Yeah, we'll always entertain what chat feedback is. So just let us know.
Take it easy, guys. Have a great weekend. Thanks for sticking it out with
us. I was
us.
here the whole episode. They just muted. They just had me in a different room. I thought I was part of it.
We did that for you, chat. Take care, guys.
Fake news. Fake news that I was late. It's not true.